Hey guys, it's me, Pete, back for another developer update. And now my coursework deadline is finished. I've actually been able to get a little bit of work done on this. Although my deadline was just on Friday night, so I've only had 2 days to work on this. But I've implemented a few things today and yesterday to show you. So first of all, in A Sprite, I've been experimenting with what to do with the ghost character. Because if I'll just play it, I'm thinking of just having it be a floating head with some sort of like ectoplasm, like transparent background. I'm thinking something along this like design line, although I want to make it look a little better, I think. So right now it's very simple, but then I kind of want to keep things simple just because looking at the date, the game jam that we're entering this for ends on the 18th. So we've got, not much time left. And we've still got quite a lot to do, which is my main concern right now. But other than that, not that. We've still got some enemies we need to implement. I've created a lot of little like plants and shrubs and little mushrooms and stuff in A Sprite because I thought they just make the levels look, a bit nicer. Because right now, it used to look very plain. I'll show you. Because it used to look quite plain and just a bit boring. Whereas now, I'll go into scene view. I've made it so they just spawn randomly throughout the level. So here, there's some mushrooms. There's this little shrub that has some like purple berry dots on it. There's some little mushrooms and some shrubbery, some more purple ones, little yellow dotted plants. Because it's just a little aesthetic change that makes the level seem a lot more just interesting aesthetically. Because without these, it just looked a little bland. So I'm definitely going to implement a lot more stuff like this if I have time, like just like trees in the background, rocks, that sort of thing. Because it's quite easy to implement. Another thing I've done is I've created quite a few more rooms. I've got one here that has like a longer log and then a thin log. I got one here where it just goes down into like a little ditch with some plants in it. And then I've also made some changes, like, added so there's just like plants that spawn with this log bridge sort of thing. But all in all, I've not got much done just because, again, I've only had a couple days to work on this since my deadline finished. But it just feels good to make at least a little bit of progress on this. The level generation, I'm fairly happy with how it works, although I would like to make some more interesting rooms. But that's going to come down to once we actually implement the enemies. However, this week, what I'm quite looking forward to is, since this is the first week on our new unit, we have a bit of slack, so me and my mate should be able to make quite a bit of progress on the game this week, which I'm quite happy about. So, my plans for this week are, I'm thinking, I know my friend is going to be working on the enemy AI and the possession. I want to fix the player's animator this week because that's been a problem I've kind of been putting off. Because right now he still hasn't got all the animations hooked up. Like the sprites have been made down here. It's all the sprites, but we've not actually implemented them. So I'd like to get that done this week. And I'd also just like to add a lot more like little things to the rooms just to make the level seem more intricate rather than them all just being like just plain grass. I might add ones that are like a tunnel or a cave room, a few rooms, something like that. Just gotta make sure each room can flow into any other room is the main issue. So, coming on this week, yeah, I want to add a lot more aesthetic changes to the level generation. I want to, in A Sprite, the pixel art thing I use, software I use, I'd like to actually get some of the enemies animated, like this dragon head. I'm thinking of changing his function maybe to make him just fly. Actually, no. No, I think I'm gonna stick with like hopping around just because that's quite easy to animate. And again, I am fairly worried about how much time we've got left for this game jam. And so yeah, I'd like to get more of just the enemies implemented and animated mainly, and get the main possession mechanic working, which is quite a bit, but we've not done any work on this for a solid week or two. So I think we should be able to do it. Other than that, anything else to add? Um, I have been having second thoughts about continuing this project after the game jam. Mainly because I feel like I did set the scope for the project to be a bit big for my like first solo project. Once me and my mate have submitted this version for Game Jam, my original plan was to make a like single player, or well, a versus mode of this where it's not based around the Game Jam, which is esports. I was planning to make it a more like narrative based platformer, similar to like the Messenger or Celeste, where it has, preset levels. But I am somewhat having second thoughts, and I'm tempted, especially after going back over it, to actually build upon my space game that I showed last week, Orbit. However, I'm not quite sure yet, because I do feel like this is a concept that has quite a bit of potential. I just want to make sure that I actually have the skills and like experience to be able to execute it correctly. Because I feel like the space game Orbit was just, it's a lot simpler of a concept and design, but I feel like that's good just to like learn from it, especially as my first project. Although I'm still not entirely against working on my version of this ninja possession based platformer after the game jam. So I'll have to see about that. Anything else of note to add? Started my new unit. Oh, don't want to do that. Started my new unit in uni, which might involve us entering some more game jams. So outside of showing you the weekly focus on this game project, I may focus on a game jam I did a week and just like show that off, for example. So I think that sums up everything. So in conclusion, I'm really looking forward to next week's video. I should be able to show you a lot of progress and hold it against me if I don't. But I'm hopeful. I'm motivated, and I'll see you all next week. I'm looking forward to it. Peace.